St Lolan's Kirk and burial ground lie next to the main road between Doon and Stirling. It's overlooked by the prominent Blair Drummond Kincardine parish church, not far from Doon itself. Little is known about St Lolan. He was probably Pictish and a bishop of this area. He was certainly highly regarded, for his bell and his staff were used at the investitures of the Earls of Perth for many years. However, they now are both lost. The first records of St Lolan's come from the 12th century. It was later held by Kember's Kenneth Abbey near Stirling. However, by the mid-17th century, it seems to have ceased to be the parish church, and instead became a burial ground with burial vaults. The three families associated with it are the Muschets, the Drummonds of Blair, and the Muirs of Deanston. The circa 1699 burial vault of the Drummonds of Blair, with a very fine coat of arms above the entranceway, stands just to the north of the old nave of the church, the nave having been demolished. Blair Drummond Castle stands nearby. There was once another smaller castle in the field in front of it to the south. The burial vault has got two small windows which appear to have possibly come from the old church. Nearby is another burial vault. This is to the Muschet family. They were Norman and came to Scotland around about 1190. One of them was a minister at Dreghorn in Ayrshire. More importantly, Lady Annabella Muschet married King Robert III of Scotland, and their son was King James I. There's a fine armorial panel over the entranceway to this building. It carries the coat of arms of the Muschets and also some details of them. This building probably was once the chancel of the old St Lolan's Kirk. To the northeast, attached to the burial ground wall, is a much more recent burial ground. This is to the Muir family of Deanston. Several members are buried here, the most prominent grave being that of Sir John Muir, who lived from 1828 to 1903. The family were very prominent business people, particularly in cotton mills. They owned the cotton mill at Deanston itself, which is now the whisky distillery. They also had many factories in India and Sri Lanka, at one point employing up to 90,000 people. The Muir's burial ground is reached by a separate path that runs outside the burial ground walls. On the return from here, you come past the very impressive three Gothic arches that may be part of an old window from Dunblane Cathedral. This is the memorial to the Drummonds of Blair Drummond Castle and Estate that lies nearby. The churchyard has a number of interesting gravestones. One for the Downey family seems to have an inappropriate word present, the word deplored. However, in the past, the word also meant to weep for or to regret deeply. Another grave seems to have a large engraved number 4 on it. This at first looks like a mason's mark, but it turns out to be a merchant's mark. That is, a mark, a symbol that a merchant would use on their goods. In this case, the 4 apparently is an altered form of the original symbol Chi Rho, which was used by the first Christians as a symbol for Christ, coming from the first two letters of Christ's name in Greek.